Hello and welcome, you guys. It's pretty late over here. Hey, Jess, I know this is probably like perfect timing for you. It's like 8 o'clock East Coast time. Woo! How do you guys like my new setup? Got the mic action going on. Let me know if the sound is good. I don't know if you guys saw the Threat Gin game yesterday, but I was slaughtered. All right, so welcome to all of the repeat offenders for Outpost Gray. You guys are the best showing up. That is awesome. Thanks, Jerry, again for restreaming this on the Simply Cyber platform. You are the best for doing that. Hey, you guys are in for a real treat tonight. This is going to be so much fun. This is definitely outside of our regular streaming hours of 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to welcome all of our new guests. And if you guys would, in chat, make sure to welcome. If you see anybody new, make sure to say hello because we've got a lot of WiCyS members joining us tonight. And I'm so excited because this live stream is in collaboration not only with our amazing partner, Grant Thornton, but we're in collaboration with WiCyS tonight. And it's a really special episode because we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to me, which is about being a veteran and talking about that transition into the cybersecurity space. And I know we've got some veterans in the audience. James, I see you. Jess, I see you. If you are a veteran, I would love if you dropped your service into the chat. Just let us know if you're Army, if you're Marines. I'm Army. What you did. I do electronic warfare, cyber. I still serve. I'm wearing one of my soft shirts from the time I served in the special ops with a unique special unit called the Cultural Support Team, and a group of us women. They developed these cool shirts. So awesome. We've got Army, Navy, go Army. So welcome to all of the WiCyS group that is joining us tonight. I'm really excited to be talking to all of you. You are on the Outpost Gray platform, so welcome to the community here. So before I dive too deep into what we're going to be talking about, I first want to do a quick intro and talk to you guys about our guests that we are going to have on the show. And I did not pull up their graphics, so I'm going to do that really quick because I'm a little behind. Don't worry. Right before this live stream, I might have been doing homework, and then I'm like, oh God. So I started turning on like some gangster music over here to try to get me amped for this. But I'm really excited. Jerry, I'm actually using the slide deck for when I did your cybersecurity event that you did. Oh my gosh, that seems years ago on Simply Cyber. So I actually pulled that out, and I'm going to be talking about communication and how to communicate from the military versus the civilian side. So that's going to be the topic of discussion tonight. But first, I want to talk a little bit about our guests before I bring them on the show. Hold on. My little restream did some wonky stuff. Cool. Here we go. All right. Check it out. You guys we have amazing guests on the show tonight. We have that is right, two of the co-presidents of WiCyS on the show. I'm excited because Liz is bringing it in for the Navy, and then we've got Kristen that's coming in for the Army side. And Liz is a Navy veteran. She has a non-traditional background of how she broke into tech. So I'm really excited for her to peel back that layer a little bit and share how she got into cybersecurity. She's really passionate about promoting inclusion and diversity within cybersecurity. So I'm a big fan of that because you guys know I'm huge on diversity, and I'm really, really big about promoting women. She also works for Accenture, and she used to teach, this is pretty cool, kayaking, snowshoeing. She loves the outdoors, and you guys know how much I love hiking in the outdoors. She also currently does some insider threat work, which we're going to talk about, and she also builds security programs. And then we've got Kristen Cotten, also a co-president. She's an Army veteran, and she has a background in InfoSec and computer systems. Now, she is currently working in the space that I used to work in, which is super awesome, cyber threat intel. So she's a cyber threat intel analyst. She also has a master's in cybersecurity and information assurance. And get this, you guys, I was checking out her LinkedIn. She completed a Python program course, get this, through Stanford University, I guess. And I'm going to ask her a little bit more about this, but I'm really interested. I guess it was part of like a COVID pandemic program. There were like 10,000 global students and 900 volunteer teachers participating from around the world. So that's pretty wicked cool. So you guys, without further ado, I think it's time for me to close that out. And you guys know what's about to happen. We're going to bring the guest on here. So everybody, let's go ahead and let's welcome Liz and Kristen. Here we go. Hello, ladies. Welcome to the show. I hope I did your guys' bio and background justice. I mean, I was like, but I know I didn't deep dive. So what I want to do is like provide you both a little bit of an opportunity to share a little bit more. But first off, before we kick it off, how are you tonight? Are you guys excited for this?
Yeah, totally awesome to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, super excited. Thanks for setting this up.
Of course. Yeah, no, I'm super thrilled. We've got quite a few people already in chat blowing it up. It looks like we've got representation from all of the branches. So Liz, you're in the bigger screen right now, so I'm going to pass it over to you first. Can you share just a little bit more about your background and how you got involved in WiCyS and share what you do as a co-president?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I got out of the military, which was my first technical job, I went back to school, I used my GI Bill, and I was like, I'm just going to major in cybersecurity. I think that sounds fine. I have a really very cool story for how I got interested in cyber. So if you guys connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm always happy to share that story. It's a deployment story, which I know we all love. So, but anyway, I got out of the military and went back to school. I got this awesome, amazing job at Accenture, and the first week I started, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in the big leagues now. This is a huge place to be. There are so many people. I feel really lost. And even though they are fantastic about providing support, I knew I needed something outside of the job to help support me. So I kind of just started doing research, and WiCyS popped up on my screen. They're a great community, and they're so supportive, and there's lots of forums you can go on, and they offer so many resources. And I just thought this is absolutely fantastic. And right after I joined WiCyS, actually, I got involved with a veteran mentoring program there. So it was a really good find for me.
That's awesome. And that's how I got connected with you. Or as Kristen, you reached out to me on LinkedIn because I had submitted something to the veteran program. So yeah, and we'll dig into that a little bit. I'd love for you guys to share how people can get engaged in that. All right, Kristen, I am putting you in the hot seat now, switching you over. Share a little bit about your background. And I want to know how you got into the Stanford program for Python coding. That was pretty cool.
So I am actually a military spouse. I'm not a veteran. My husband is an active duty Army service member. I come from a really non-traditional background. A long time ago, I actually studied biology. I worked in the veterinary medical field for a bit, took a complete 180 and was a skydiving instructor for just under a decade. And it was when my husband re-enlisted in the Army, I decided I needed to do something that was a little bit more stable. So my brother, he works in InfoSec for a large bank. He suggested I look into cybersecurity, handed me a stack of books, and I fell in love with it. The Stanford program was really cool. It was a completely volunteer program. It was put on, I think, right when COVID started in like March or April of 2020. And it was great. We had people from all over the world. We had a large lecture where we could participate as a group. And then we had smaller cohorts of 10 where we met once a week for the duration, and we just solved problems together with code.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Do you still use some of the code that you learned from that course in what you're doing for cyber threat intel?
Yeah, Python is great. It's an awesome first language to learn. It's super beginner friendly. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you on that. So let's talk a little bit about the foundation before I send you guys off to the green room and chat about communication styles in the military. Can you guys share a little bit about what WiCyS does and how, if there's any individuals that are watching this from the Simply Cyber community or Outpost Gray community, and they're interested in getting engaged or maybe wanting to get a membership, what does that look like? I'm going to pass it to you, Liz.
Yeah, thanks. So you can go to WiCyS.org, very simple, WiCYS.org. and get involved. There's a small membership fee for veterans. I think it's maybe $20 or $30 or something for the year. And it gives you access to all the resources. So there's forums. Like I said, they have an annual conference, which is absolutely amazing. I've been to 2 now. I highly recommend everybody go to a professional conference of some sort at least once in their life. It's so energizing. So you can find membership information there. If you're interested in joining our specific affiliate, which is the WiCyS military affiliate, we are a special interest community comprised of active duty service members, veterans, and spouses. And our job here, as far as Kristen and I are concerned, is to provide opportunities to educate, recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. We offer mentoring, networking, career development, and it's all tailored to our unique community. I think we all know that veterans and military spouses have a little bit separate challenges from maybe everyday people. And I think that it's really important to recognize that and offer a safe place for us all to come talk about our experiences and get the right resources to get us all ahead.
Yeah, Kristen, what would you say for a safe space? Because I like how you brought that up, Liz, but like safe space, that's a big thing when you leave the military and you're going through this transitional shift, and you probably saw it with your spouse, unless they're still serving. If they've gotten out, there's that definite transitional shift that you'll have. And it's like retrying to find that safe space and that community. How do you guys provide that at WiCyS for these veterans that want to come and be part of the community?
So that's a great question because I think for both communities, like myself as a spouse, and definitely my husband has echoed as a service member, that when you leave the service, and for me, when I left my like normal skydiving community, I definitely felt a loss of community. So we have monthly meetings. We typically meet this time, the third Tuesday of each month. We've also got several different social media channels where you can connect with us, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And then we're also getting a Discord server set up so we can communicate with you guys all and we can hang out a little bit more frequently.
I love that. You're great. All right, ladies, before I send you to the green room and start talking to everybody one-on-one, do you guys have any quick final thoughts or just have fun?
I want to shout out to Jessie Riley, who is here supporting me. Hi, Jessie. And I'm super excited for you guys all to hear Jax talk. Everyone here from WiCyS, Jax is so amazing. So I'm very excited for you guys to talk to her.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Kristen. Okay. All right. I'm going to send you guys in the back. I don't know about the mod, but I'll let you guys know on the raffle. And if everybody's watching right now, we're going to be doing a raffle. And I think Liz and Kristen are going to help me collect the names. So we're going to make that happen soon. All right. I'm going to send you ladies to the green room. Bye. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. So like I said, definitely different. Oh, Jessie just gave you a heart, by the way, Liz. I love it. So definitely different episode than our typical episode for any Outpost Gray repeaters. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to talk to you all a little bit about what my journey looked like in breaking into cybersecurity. And then I'm a visual learner. So I have this little slide deck that I use to talk about communication styles. Because as a woman leaving the military and then going into the military or going into the civilian world, it was really challenging for me to understand how to communicate. I don't know if there's any other female veterans out there that have had or experienced these challenges, but if you have, please drop them in chat because I would love for you to share them. If you would, that would be amazing. So I don't feel alone. And the other thing is make sure to drop your question. So I will be watching this chat as it comes through. It'll help me if you put a capital Q in front of the question, because then I can grab it and I'll be doing live Q&A throughout this. So if I see something come up, I'll make sure to grab it and then I'll answer your question. So some of the things that we talked about, Kristen, Liz, when we did the pre-show on this was I asked them, what do you want me to talk about with the individuals? And some of the things they said, they asked me, what got you interested into cyber? So to kind of share my interest in cyber and how it started, it was actually it was weird. It was kind of forced on me in a way because I went into IT in 2008 in the military doing information technology. And I did that for about 10 years, 10 years, something around there. And I hated it because the military takes the fun out of everything, first off. but I worked at a fires brigade. If anybody's ever worked at a fires brigade, we are constantly going to the field. We are constantly doing exercises. It is not 1 week in a month and 2 weeks a year. That's how they get you. It's like every other weekend, and then you do a full month somewhere in there, and sometimes 4 months. And oh, you forgot about the 6-month deployment. So I got really burnt out. Long story short, got really burnt out. I was doing help desk for what we call the G6. And I honestly did not know that there was another world outside of help desk and SharePoint. It was terrible. So in like 2010, 2013, I came back from my deployment and I was ready to get out. I was going to get out of the military, and then I got approached to go into electronic warfare. And if you know anything about that, it was a relatively new field at the time. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll give this a shot. Became a warrant officer, and I was like, yes, I am free of IT. I'm never coming back. That's literally, I was so happy. And then while I was at the schoolhouse in 2014, we got pulled in this huge conference room. I'll never forget this day. And this CW5 unicorn, anybody in the Army knows what that means. CW5 unicorn gets on the stage and tells us that electronic warfare has now become part of cybercom. And I almost fell out of my chair because I thought that cyber was IT, and I thought I was going to have to be doing help desk. So fast forward a few years, I was still part of this program in the special ops. I was working in the special ops. So I was doing a lot of intelligence ops and not really leveraging my electronic warfare capabilities. I kept falling into these cyber operations. And it wasn't until 2019 that, and you guys can Google this, Atlantic Resolve. So there's a mission that takes place out in Europe. It's called Atlantic Resolve, and units deploy out there. And it's basically us developing relationships with our host nation partners. And that's where I started realizing that there's a whole world of cybersecurity that I didn't know about, specifically cyber threat intel. That's how I got into it. I was working with a client out there, and then it afforded me a really great opportunity to take a job with my first cybersecurity company was FireEye. I started working for them, and then I kind of just went from there. I was doing a lot of cyber ops before that. However, I dipped my toes in it. So I was doing a lot of military cybersecurity operations, but which is completely different at a large scale. So that's how I broke into it. And then if anybody knows me, they know I've just gone ham on the GRC world, government's risk and compliance, and I've totally gone head first into it. But that was how I kind of got my first job, and I started pivoting into getting more engaged into cybersecurity. I started working in a SOC, but I wasn't a SOC analyst. I was in a fusion center doing cyber threat intel, and then moved from there. I became a director of cyber threat intel, launched my own company, and now today I do government's risk and compliance. I actually am a manager at Grant Thornton, and that's where my passion is. So that's kind of what my journey looks like in this space and kind of where I'm going. But it wasn't always an easy journey. And that's what I want to share with you all is that because I understand there's a few people in chat right now, like Carrie, love you, always fighting, always working to break into the industry. James is here as well. So if you guys are new and you see them, we've got some individuals that are military, both military personnel, and trying to break into the industry. And it is hard. It is very challenging. And even though my challenge breaking into cybersecurity didn't seem like it was a big challenge, I did have a challenge overall transitioning as a civilian. And that's what I want to share with you all tonight is kind of go over and talk about communication styles, because I wish somebody had told me this when I was transitioning, because as a woman leaving special ops, I really didn't feel like I had a place, and I had to basically refine myself to be able to fit into this civilian world. Yeah, Jess, we talked about this. It is, and any women out there that know, it's a very unique place. It's hard for anybody, but it's even more unique for women because we come out, we have to, in some ways, you have to shed a lot of times the part that makes you a woman, that empathetic, feminine side, and you come out of the military, and especially if you're a successful leader and you go into the civilian world, and that shedded part of you need that, because it doesn't really work as well when you walk into a meeting room and you're very alpha and overly aggressive. So you have to relearn how to communicate. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. I hope it resonates with some of you. Love your feedback on this, because I know everybody's journey is a little bit different. So make sure everybody can see that. And I don't want to go full screen, you guys, because it overtakes my computer and then I can't see you all. So let's try this one. Do you guys like that side, or do you like it like that? I like it like that. That's bigger. All right. So we don't need to do that. You guys already know what I'm talking about. Military communication. So I think this is funny. Humor is super important. Shamaria, so true. Having to dial it back was hard. Absolutely. It is. And you have to it's like you don't want to lose yourself, but you have to refine yourself. So little humor for you guys. For anybody that's not military, you may not get this, but if you are, it's pretty funny. So the left is, when you're first getting out, you might be the left, which is you suck and your work sucks and there's no wonder you're single. And then the right is corporate America, where you have to learn how to, look at somebody and tell them, I can tell you're trying on this project, but maybe you need a little more guidance. So it's really adjusting and understanding your audience when you're moving into the civilian sector. You guys already know who I am. I don't need to talk about that either. And then this right here. So I just Googled when I was doing this. I went, what is communication? What does it really mean? What's the root of it? So communication is the act of developing meaning among entities or groups through the use of sufficiently mutually understood signs, symbols, and symbiotic conventions. And one thing that I've learned in the military and then going into the civilian world is we are our own unique culture. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but we're definitely our own unique culture. We have our own puns, we have our own humor, and we have our own way of connecting and communicating. And I will tell you from experience, it's not the same when you're in the civilian world and you're trying to connect and communicate with civilian people. And so it's learning and understanding what is communication, what does that act really mean, and understanding how to communicate and how to utilize different signs and symbols to be able to connect better. And so right here, I break down the different kinds of communication styles. We've got verbal, nonverbal, visual, and written. I'm not going to belabor these points because we kind of know what these are. But I think one of the things that we forget sometimes is nonverbal communication. Like we've lost a lot of that too because we work in a virtual space. So, and I've heard sometimes like people that have gone to the virtual space can sometimes appear more aggressive because you don't have that body language than you would if you were in person. So it's understanding the different types of communication styles with the person that you're going to be communicating with, and then understanding we don't have a lot of those nonverbals anymore, and some of those even visuals, because think about it. How many times do you turn on your camera? I work in cybersecurity. We don't usually turn on our camera. I worked at a company that we literally at a fintech, we would turn on the camera once a month with my team just to be like, hey, I haven't seen you in a month. Probably need to turn on the camera. So you don't even get that visual connection. So you've really got to work on the verbal. And that's what I'm going to dive into a little bit more, is talking about how we can work on like that verbal, the tone, the active listening, and avoiding certain jargons or acronyms. Because if you're in the military, you've definitely done the acronym hustle. And sometimes I feel like when you join different units, how do you guys feel about that? When you've gone to like one unit to another and you finally figure out the jargon and then it all changes again? Yeah. So this is another little bit of humor right here. When your coworker can tell you're frustrated, so they ask you if they're okay, if you are okay. And instead of, I'm ready to choke slam that dumb MF in this building. I don't know who created these slides. Instead, you should try, I'm a little frustrated with HR's process on leave. Maybe you can better explain it to me. And I know these are kind of funny, but it's serious. And I know that there's definitely been times where I might have thought about the one on the left. And in the military, the one on the left, you could absolutely say in one of my units and get away with that. Absolutely. No. Shamir's over here dying. See, the military people get this. Like, yeah. But if you said that in the civilian sector, you would probably get fired or definitely get an HR complaint. So I'd highly encourage you not to try that. So verbal communication styles, something that I identified in myself for the military style versus civilian style. And if anybody's in the reserves, try putting these hats on when you go to the military, because I still struggle with that because I still serve in the reserves. So military style, you're overly direct and assertive. You're loud. Like they want you. How many times were you guys at basic training and they were like yelling at you to be louder, have your command voice? So we like instill that into soldiers. I don't know if they still do that in basic, but they used to yell at us like that and be like, and if somebody was mousy, they like a woman was mousy or a girl was mousy, they would yell at her more to get that command voice. And then seems to lack empathy. Like, when have you been in a unit where they're like, yeah, how's everybody doing? We want to talk about feelings. We want to have a safe space here. And like, we really want everybody to express their feelings. I've never experienced that, but you would see that in the civilian sector all the time. I was just talking to my boss about it today. And one of the things she just messaged me was giving ease to our team because we're going through a big transition right now. You wouldn't hear that in the military. You would hear like suck it up and move on. So the civilian style it's assertive but not aggressive, especially when you're in those executive C-suites. Being a business owner, I had to learn, and a woman, because it's different. I had to learn, how am I assertive without being aggressive? And then having a softer tone and slowing down and not being so loud. And then what's great about the civilian sector is everybody has a voice. Everybody's voices matter. It's great. James, I can still tell people to use their adult voice. Yeah, this is so true. MR, former infantry staff sergeant here, extremely difficult to reel it in, especially fresh out into my IT career. Yeah, MR, how's that been going for you? Like, have you had any personal challenges where any leadership has gone up to you? I personally can tell you times even when I worked at Mandy and I had transitioned out of active duty in 2015, and even when I was working there had been times that I was told that I was too aggressive or I was too intense. That was the new word. So I'd be interested to know if you've had any feedback, Imar, on yours. Okay, now we're going to non-verbal. So military style. You guys know this. Think about that individual. It's in the front of the room. Big posture, chest is tall, leaning in. Like they always got to be like really big. It's always that big dude or big gal. No distraction. Pay attention to the speaker. You know, nobody sleeps. Everybody's like, you know, you're always smacking the guy's head if they go to sleep. Everybody's got attention. Like nobody sleeps. No, nobody's on your phone. That's what happens. But the civilian style, everybody's really relaxed. It's like a shared environment, maybe even legs crossed. Everybody's just kind of, it's in what I've been around. Yes, you're going to have intense environments, but it's not like you'll see constantly in the military with the military briefs. And then multitasking during meetings. How many times have you guys gone to a meeting? People bring their laptops in and they're typing as the person's over there talking. You're just, uh-huh. So that was definitely a new thing for me. Oh, and then civilians don't show up on time for meetings, you guys. It really happens. Like we start meetings 3 to 4 minutes late sometimes because we're waiting for all of the guests to show up. That doesn't happen in the military. All right, some more humor. So we got when civilians hear people in the military speak, top right, and then it's a special kind of speech perfected by years of hating your life. And that I won't read that down there, but and it's, do you have to use so many cuss words? When civilians hear people in the military speak. Yes, isn't that true? Hey Mike, welcome to the party. Welcome. 15 minutes early is on time. Yes, James, I know, 15 minutes early. But civilians don't do that. They don't do that. They don't show up 15 minutes early for a virtual call. I have friends that are in the Guard and Reserve, and I was at their house one time and they're like, "Oh, I got a meeting." And it was like 45 till, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Oh, got to sign in early." I'm like, "This isn't formation. This is a virtual call." But yes, they still do it on virtual calls, you guys. Okay, so I wanted to provide you all some resources because I think it's critical. And I'm going to drop some of these. I'm going to try to drop these all in the chat for you all so you have it, but grab them. All right, so cyber supply drop. For anybody out there that's trying to transition right now that maybe you're having some struggles in it, cyber supply drop will provide you, they have certifications, like they have funding to provide help for individuals to get certifications and go to certain trainings and get CPE. So definitely check them out. The next one I just dropped is Hackers for Vets. I am a special advisor for these for this nonprofit. It was just founded by a veteran. Cyber Supply Drop is founded by a veteran, and Hackers for Vets is also a nonprofit that is designed to help individuals break into cybersecurity and provide scholarships. So gives you $10,000, $5,000. You can use it how you see fit. It's not a certification. It's actually money to help you in your cybersecurity journey. Veteransec.org. You guys go check them out. They have a yearly conference that is free, and it's called VetSecCon. Anybody in the chat's been there knows that it's just amazing. It's an amazing conference. Also, a ton of amazing free resources for you. They also have a Slack channel you guys can get involved in. Get in there. They will help you with resume reviews, because I know that's a big topic of discussion. So they'll help you get those done. So connect with them. Next one, I'm going to just bombard you guys with a whole bunch of military resources. So if you guys need them at the end of this and you didn't get them, I'll drop them in the show notes, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. Oh, look at that. Women in cybersecurity. Hello. That's us. That's us. Well, it's not me. I'm a member, but that's this chat right now, what we got going on. So, and I already had them up over here because I wanted to promote, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about how you guys can get engaged in this. So definitely go check out WiCyS. They have a veterans community. They're welcome to all. I know it says women. You can be any gender. Go check them out. Get engaged. Get involved. They've pretty much got every community that you can think of. They have a massive list of how you can get engaged. And I'm pretty certain, I'm looking in the green room, you guys do resume reviews and stuff like that, help veterans out with stuff like that. Liz, Kristen, yep, they're shaking their head yes. So there you go. If you're new and you're just checking this out, go check them out. All right, so Whole Human Initiative, another great foundation, helps individuals break into the cybersecurity community, also a veteran. Here, this not by a veteran, but Deidre Diamond, huge supporter of inclusion and diversity. Go pwn your career. If you're here right now and you're trying to break into the industry, I always send people to CyberSN. It is a great, here, I'm going to show you this website. It's a fantastic website. It will help you be able to see kind of what is out there for positions and then the responsibilities associated with it. So you can actually, this is the main page. That link's going to take you to the very first page. These are current opportunities. She keeps this updated on a regular basis. But if you go past this, here's the Career Center. And it has, if you're wanting compliance, defense, development, education, management, offensive plan, research, response, sales, all these. Look, cyber threat intel. You click on that, it's going to tell you the role overview. You're going to be able to see what are the different positions, may also be referred to as, so you'll know different titles. What this is really amazing and great for, and what I love about this, is if you're unsure about a position, you're like, well, I think I'm going to be good at this. Go in here and check it out. Maybe you're not. Not that you're not going to be good at it, but maybe you won't enjoy it. So this is an amazing resource. Go check it out. Figure out what you want to do in this space. Another one is the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies. This was through CISA. This is a program that helps, again, veterans. This is that site right there specific. You'll see it, Cybersecurity Veterans. It will help veterans break into the industry, free resources, grants, all kinds of stuff that you can utilize there. And then this last one, I have known people that have gotten into this. I could not get into it because I was already in IT and cybersecurity. So if you've come off of active duty, they do have some requirements, but they're doable. So you've had to have come off of active duty within the last, within the minimum or maximum of 3 to 4 years, I think. There's a requirement. So you came off active and you've been off active for 3-4 years. You may still qualify. You may not. Check it out. But they will send you to, I think it's 3 of their courses. It's an academy. They actually will, before COVID, they used to send you and you would stay there and do back-to-back boot camps. And you get 503 and a couple of other really, really good ones with 305. Dyslexic, but check those out. Another great resource. Also FREE for you. And then the last one here, and I don't have a link for it, Toastmasters. I would highly encourage you guys, go and get involved with Toastmasters. Get involved with a connect, a meetup group. I think that was the biggest thing that helped me with my communication style, was just getting in front of people, meeting civilians. Because I know when I left the military, most of my friends were civilians. And so being a part of WiCyS like you guys are and being part of this event right here, you're meeting a ton of civilians, and you're also networking with some amazing people in the community because Outpost Gray is pretty awesome. And if you're streaming on Simply Cyber, you guys are awesome too. Okay, so I know you all want to wrap up. Maybe not. Maybe you guys are enjoying me rattling off. But before we jump into best practices and resources, we got a raffle. So anybody, if you're really quick before we do the raffle, and I tell you what the rules are, so nobody go anywhere. Anybody that's on LinkedIn, to make this easier on Liz and Kristen, will you guys go to YouTube? I will. If you just type in Outpost Gray, you'll get to my YouTube, or Simply Cyber. We're streaming on both of those. So LinkedIn users, go to one of those platforms, because what we're going to do is Liz and Kristen have both of those YouTube channels to make this as easy as possible. I know we've got a few people in here, so they're going to need a little bit of time to like gather all the names. So how you are going to drop your name in the raffle? Pretty easy. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to look like this. Hold on. I messed that up. Boom, exclamation mark, lowercase, raffle. Put your name in there. And then as I'm finishing this up, Liz and Kristen are going to gather your names. And then you're probably wondering what the heck we're giving away. First off, if you don't know, because I'm just talking about a raffle and people are like, wow, a raffle, what are we giving away? I just realized I haven't told you. All right, hold on. This is what we're giving away. Simply Cyber, you guys know. Oh, yeah, it's about to go down. Start your learning. Oh, that's right. GRC Analyst Masterclass by my dear friend and vicious opponent in ThreatGen competition yesterday. Took me down. He is the creator of the first ever GRC course. This is a fantastic course. I have gone through it. One of my dear friends also is a guest speaker in this. This course teaches you the foundational understandings of GRC, how to apply it in a real world environment. I work in GRC, and I can tell you, I wish I had taken this course before I had gotten my position working in GRC, because there's just a wealth of knowledge. So this is what you're going to be getting. It's an amazing treat. Huge thanks to Gerald for donating this, and for Simply Cyber community. So thank you so much for supporting this live stream. Fantastic. And if you guys haven't, go check out Simply Cyber. You won't be disappointed over there. All right. So as they collect your names, as you're dropping them in there, again, it's exclamation mark raffle. Keep dropping them. Thank you, NYY76CHC69. Thanks. I appreciate this. This is really cool. And Carrie, I love this GRC class. Wasn't it awesome? I appreciated it. Okay, so best practices. We're going to wrap this up with a couple more slides, but some best practices. These are my personal things that I have done. Now, I have friends, and I'm going to reiterate that I'm speaking from a female perspective, okay? Cuss less, articulate yourself, and cuss less. I have found that this has been much more impactful. Now, I have friends that still cuss, and I still love them, and it is fine. But I will tell you, you will get farther in the corporate sector if, again, you know your audience. I'm not saying, because we all know I did. I cussed a lot when I was in the military, and I've gotten out, and now I hardly ever cuss at all. I work around a lot of clients, and I don't want that perception of me. So that's my personal thing now. No single person is in charge in a work group. And that was really different for me leaving the military. If you guys have been working in the civilian space, it's really a collaborative environment, depending on the sector you're in. But regardless, every job I've worked in the civilian world, it has been very, very collaborative. And there's not one person in charge. A lot of the time, leadership is flat, depending on the project you're on, especially in cybersecurity, because you might have a guy that's really good at doing the vulnerability assessments and another person that's great at writing the reports. So you'll notice that the dynamics continuously change. Jess, I say darn and I say oh gosh. And I'm like, I can't believe I became an oh gosh person. But I'm like, oh gosh. Shamaria's like, I sing randomly. I do too. Yeah, I definitely do that. Know your audience again. I won't belabor that point, but know your audience. Oh, that's over here. Sorry. Anger and outbursts do not work the same with civilians. And I say this because working the special ops, working in any military environment, a lot of the times aggression is the thing to get things done. Like people get really loud or get angry or flip a table. Doesn't work so well in the civilian sector. Pay attention to your nonverbal cues. They're just as important as your verbal cues. If your arms are crossed, if your face is all crinkled up, just pay attention to those things. Become an active listener. I think Emotional EQ is my best recommendation book for anybody to read. I think you should also consider taking a personality test. There's a couple of people in this chat room right now that know me, and I've had them do personality tests. It's really important just to know who you are. Carrie, you don't drink coffee anymore either. So I don't know what you do, Carrie. What do you do for fun? Assert yourself without aggression. Emotional EQ book again. And then acquire some more civilian friends. And then ask your civilian friends how they perceive you. This is really important. The reason I put this on here is your military friends are going to be like, oh man, you're fine. Ask not just a civilian friend, but ask somebody you look up to. Maybe it's a mentor, maybe it's a coach, but get their feedback. Ask them, how do I come off? Do I come off too aggressive? Like, ask them for their feedback because you'll get unbiased feedback at that point in time. And then join a networking group. I mentioned this before, but this has really helped me. I don't do Toastmasters anymore. I did. I used to do meetups. I don't anymore, but it definitely helped me with just networking and meeting people. And then be patient. Be patient with the transition. Be patient with breaking into the industry. And then be patient with just refining the new you as you move out of the military and into the civilian world. Oh, I do have a recommendation slide for books. I won't belabor this either, but Emotional Intelligence, Never Eat Alone, great networking book. How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you haven't read that, shame on you. Read that book. And then Toastmasters, Meetups, Mixers, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of your best friends. Highly encourage that. And then one last little fun humor. The face you make when civilians give their opinion on military matters. Am I right or what? Oh, man. That guy right there. All right. We're closing this out. Coming back live, coming big. All right. That's a wrap. Let me go back to my show notes really quick before I bring our guests back on and we do a final closeout. Okay. I want to cover a couple more things really quickly, and then we're closing this out. So some things that we discussed during pre-show was talking about clearance job and how to leverage a clearance, certification requirements for working in the federal space. If that's something that you're worried about, you've got a clearance, I would say I had really good success with clearancejobs.com. I found it a lot better than USA Jobs. I would say go check that out. But I will tell you right now, until my most recent job, I never used my clearance ever on all of the jobs that I had. But this job right now, just because of the client, we had actually gotten the contract without needing a clearance. And then they decided we needed a clearance. So I just want you to know you don't need a clearance to get into cybersecurity. Can it help? Possibly, but I wouldn't even worry about that if that's something that you're concerned about. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's it. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring the guests back on, and we're going to do the raffle, and then we're going to do some final thoughts. Are you guys ready for this raffle? I'm ready for this raffle. All right, here we go. Coming on, Liz and Kristen. What were you guys doing back there? Hanging out? Hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Trying to
this
keep
is
up the
great.
chat.
Yeah, I saw the names now. You guys dropped them in chat. I just saw, Kristen, you're like, I'm not a veteran. I'm a military spouse. Yeah, I totally messed that up, you guys. It's okay. You're inaugural veteran now. It's fine. We'll make that happen. So while I'm getting the raffle together and getting the Will of Life or whatever, I want to ask you guys some questions that we can share with the audience for individuals that may not know. How can people get involved and like buy a membership? What is a membership for WiCyS? Like share a little bit about those steps. So they just go to your website over at WiCyS.org, apply there. Are there any requirements to it?
Yeah,
Kristen, you're
so
in the hot spot. Yeah, you're going to go.
we're super inclusive. We would like all of our members to be members of the parent organization, WiCyS.org. You can find our affiliate website, WiCyS Military, There's information there on how to join our mailing list. There's also a link on how to get your WiCyS membership. I believe veterans and military spouses, the membership for a year is $20. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's what it is. Yes,
awesome.
perfect. That's us.
That's our webpage.
That is a beautiful one. You guys are really good on this. I love this. How did I not see this? I don't know. I joined. Oh, look, it's you two. Hello. I'm dropping the link so you guys all have it. So WiCyS Military. Jess, I hope to see you in there. That's amazing. I love this. When did you guys share? How did you guys get into WiCyS? How did you get involved and get connected and become co-presidents? Kristen, how did you become a co-president?
So I can't remember how I found WiCyS. I think I might have found it on LinkedIn, but I was a member of WiCyS for a while. I really wanted to get a military community started because, like I said, as a military spouse, I felt really isolated from my community. Military life was really new to me, and I didn't really know many people, and I certainly didn't know many women in cyber. So I reached out to Lynn, and she suggested that I start an affiliate. So I post up on LinkedIn. Liz was one of the first people who messaged me back expressing interest in getting started, and I'm super excited to be here.
I love that. That is awesome. Okay, so Liz, you met her because she made a post, but and then like, were you part of WiCyS before that though?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because WiCyS has a very strong veteran presence, and the veteran community in general is like super important to them. I'm part of their veteran mentorship program. They have a veteran apprenticeship program. They're starting a new cohort next spring. So anybody who's interested in that, definitely go check it out at WiCyS. But yeah, I've been talking to Lynn after I started mentoring, and I said, why don't we have a veteran affiliate? Why is that not a thing yet? And so just as I was starting to think about that kind of a thing, Kristen literally like a day after I got done talking to Lynn, like had posted her thing on LinkedIn. I was like, oh, this is perfect timing. Like, let's do this right now. So it worked out really well.
I love that. This is awesome. Well, I'm excited we were able to do this, and it seems like everybody had a great time in the chat. So thank you everybody for showing up. Now I think it's time for the raffle. We're going to do this, make this happen. So I dropped raffle one more time in there, but I think we're going to go with this, with the names that we have right now. Thank you, Liz, Kristen, for gathering these names. All right, here we go. We should do a drum roll or something. Hold on. Hold on. I should have prepared better for this, but that's okay. We're going on the fly over here. Drum roll sound effect. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can get this to be loud enough though. Oh yeah, there we go. Ready? All right. I hope you guys can hear the drum roll. Here we go. Okay, you can stop now. Wow, that's going for a long time. My dancing girl. That is so awesome. My dancing girl. I'm going to drop my LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn. I'll get you this, the certificate or whatever that he's given me, so you can have that cyber GRC course. But before we jump off here, I want to do some final thoughts. And Liz and Kristen, this was I'm like so thrilled. I told you guys when you reached out to me to be a speaker, I was like really excited because I've been part of your guys' community for the past couple of years. I just renewed my membership. I love what you guys are doing. I mean, you guys just had Jen Easterly at your last conference, which huge fan. Totally wanted to go to that, missed it. But I want you guys to take a few moments and just share some final thoughts with the community, just your community, the WiCyS, our community, and then also like Outpost Gray. So Liz, you're in the hot seat first, so I'm going to give you center stage. Let you chat.
Yeah, so my like number one thing that I tell people is like, do not discount networking. It is your biggest ally. If I don't know the answer to your question, I most certainly know somebody that does. All of those things that you posted for resources, CISA, like Jen Easterly, like you said, came to speak at the WiCyS conference. CyberSN, I've met Deidre Diamond. She's an amazing woman. VetSec, we're working on a collaboration with them right now at WiCyS Military. So the cyber world is such a small world. And anytime you guys ever need questions, feel free, please, to reach out to us. You can email us at WiCySmilitary at WiCyS.org, and we'll always answer questions. We monitor that email all the time. And we hope to see you guys join our crew, because we love to have these kinds of events.
I love that. And what was the email address again for WiCyS?
For our affiliate, it's WiCySmilitary at WiCyS.org.
Okay, WiCyS.org. I'm inserting this. Got it. Cool. All right. Kristen, final thoughts.
Awesome. I just want to echo what Liz said. We're here to serve you all. So if there's anything you want to see, any events you want us to host, any ideas you have, if you want to get involved, we're always looking for more volunteers. So, yep, exactly. Just reach out anytime at our email. Let us know what you'd like to see, and we'd love to work with you.
You ladies are amazing. All right. Well, that has it. We're going to call it. We're shutting it down. Saying bye to everyone. Everybody wave. Bye.